Okay, so now we're ready to look at the centroid problems that you have assigned for your application problems. So for Module 7 application problems, the centroid problems are located down here below, and these are going to be out of that Chapter 9 handout, okay, that PDF that we've been working the examples out of, okay? So we're going to go to page 191, and both of the problems that I picked, 910 and 911, are going to be found there. The answers for those are in brackets here for you, okay? So you just want to compare your final answer to those numbers, and as long as you got those, you're good to go. So let's look underneath our camera here, and on page 191, this is the first problem, 910, and the second problem is 912. Okay. So as we look at the two problems, you are going to notice that the problem identifies for you the reference axis. So they've got the X and the Y axis. Okay. So you will be using that identified reference axis. Okay. Now, for this problem, the simple shapes. Now you could break this, differently if you wanted to, but how I would do it is you have right here, you have a rectangle. Okay. I'm not going to number them right now. You have a triangle right here, right? You have a triangle right here, and then a rectangle in the middle. Okay. And then you've got a hole that you're going to remove the material. So you would have, if you divide it up this way, like I would, and I'm not saying that that's the only way or the right way, it's just a way. You would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shapes. Okay, that would be one way to look at it. Another way to look at it, okay, is you could do a rectangle sitting on top here, or the whole thing. You could do a whole rectangle. Okay, you could do a whole rectangle, but then you would take away the areas on the side and the hole. In that case, you would have one rectangle minus the triangle, minus the triangle. So this would be a 2 and a 3, and then minus the hole would be a 4. So there's still stuff, okay? So however you go about it, just make sure that you appropriately identify your simple shapes in relationship to your X and Y axis, okay? So once you identify your simple shapes, then you're going to gather your area, okay, your X and your Y for each one of the shapes. And then you're going to create your chart, and then you're going to find your X bar and your Y bar, okay? And then don't forget to add a diagram to locate it. So you're going to re-show your X and Y reference axis. You're going to re-show the overall sketch of the composite, and then you're going to dimension the X bar and the Y bar from the reference axis. So up and over. Okay. Any questions on kind of, the process there for problem 910? All right. Then the other problem that you're going to work is going to be 912. Here as well, they identify for you the reference axis. So the reference axis here is going to be on the bottom of the part and along that left side. Okay. All right. So now here again, you want to find your simple shapes. What I see as the simple shapes are going to be the 3 rectangles. I would probably do 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Then you're going to locate the centers for each one of these. Okay. Then you're going to find your area, your X, and your Y for each one of the shapes. Okay. And then you're going to do your table to get your X bar and your Y bar. And then don't forget you have to create a diagram dimensioning your X bar and your Y bar from the reference axis that you see here. Okay. So same Same process that we did for the examples in the lecture demo, all right? So looking at these two problems, does anybody have, any questions at the moment? Okay. If not, then I'm going to stop this recording.